We'll be back, so y'all just hang tight.
All
All
right.
So I think we can talk. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
We're in the green room. It's what it's kind of so like online. It should be muted because
It's
it's
on
not
my phone.
okay.
No.
That's so weird. Well, let's not talk then. I'm gonna mute it this way.
I think we can mute ourselves.
Can you?
Uh,
Yes.
Yeah, I muted myself.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna do that too. Hey everyone, welcome to the show tonight. I'm Michael, the transit guy, your host for Let's Talk Transit. This is the second time we've done this, and so we had a great success with our first episode. So we're now taking it to episode number 2, and I've got some special guests here with me tonight. Uh, in the moments to come. So, hey, we're going to try something new tonight. So, periodically, I will post this number on the screen here. We'd love to take your questions. So, if you want to call in and ask a question, I invite you to do that. And we haven't done this before. And if I mess up, I mess up. But I think I figured it out this week. So, if you got a question, uh, feel free to dial that number and to call in, and we will put you on air with us. Also, here is the email address, the transit guy 2020 at gmail.com. If you want to be on the show, email me and let's talk, and we'll get you on the show. We got some good guests lined up for next month. I'm really excited about uh, our next month's guest. He has transformed his bus into something that's really cool. And so I look forward to next month. But in the meantime, we're going to just kind of meet these guys. I think Zach had to run and do something real quick, but let's get them on here. I know we got Johnny here. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, how's it
Can you hear
going,
me?
guys? I'm
Good.
good.
Hey,
I
if
can hear you.
good, good, good. If you are online, let me know if you're hearing me. I'm going to make sure that we got some good audio coming out, and I hope it is
There we
going
go.
great. There's Zach, the man, right there. Uh, let us know where you're from. I know we got a few folks that are online, and we won't rush. We'll just kind of just let folks get in here. I know some people are working and things like that. I'm gonna put this number back on the screen just in case anybody wants to call in and ask us questions tonight. So we'll kind of give it another 20 seconds or so to get some folks in the room. All right, Zach. Y'all, Zach is there. We go. Michael, you are low. I can hear Johnny, so I'm going to crank up. How about now, Ron? Ron says, oh, let's post that. Put you down here. Ron, let me know if that's good. Is that too loud for y'all in your ears? Are y'all okay?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I hear you
Okay.
just fine.
You're good now. All right, perfect. Um, all right, we got a few in the room across the board here. Hey, y'all just kind of introduce yourselves, tell us who you are and where you're from. Zach, let's start with you.
All right. I am from Richmond, Virginia. I'm a mechanic full time, uh, 7 to 6, Monday through Friday. Uh, just been on cars probably since I was little. Uh, the shop I'm at right now, I've been there since I graduated high school. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been there 7 years, and got my first bus. I want to say 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. I think the anniversary for buying it was last month, and it never had any intention of owning a bus. Um, it just came up on an auction, and I didn't know if you wanted to get into those details now, Michael, or wait
No,
till
no,
later.
we'll get there. We'll get there. So that's
Yeah,
good. All right, let me get over to
but
Johnny. Johnny, tell us a little bit about you, brother.
All right, I'm from San Antonio, born and raised. I've been driving transit off and on for about 8 years now. But I've been into buses and um, all of that pretty much my whole life. I mean, I grew up riding the buses around San Antonio, and that's where it started. So I've driven all kinds of transit buses. So it's just my favorite thing.
Cool, cool beans, cool beans. All right, so I've got some questions for us that I asked our guys last week and girl. And so, first question is, when did you come to love transit life slash buses? Tell us why it came about and how it came about. We'll start with you, Johnny.
All right. Well, like I said, I grew up in San Antonio, and I mean, growing up, really, that's how we got around. All the way through high school. I had a bus pass. If on the weekends, just jump on the bus, go downtown, go to the mall, or everything I did, I just got right in the bus. And I was that kid. I always had every schedule in my hand. Um, I knew all the routes. I mean, and
Yeah.
it became like a family, kind of like a family, not kind of like a family joke, but um, they would quiz me. Anybody that would come across me would just quiz me. Where does this bus go? Where does that bus go? And I'm talking like 10 years old, and I'm nailing it.
Right.
And it just, it started from there. And, all the way I just stayed following. I just rode the bus. Even when I had my own car, I got my own vehicle, I'd get bored on the weekends, just jump on the bus, go for a ride. You see so much when you're not driving.
Right.
When you're
Yeah.
riding, just, you ain't got to worry about nothing. You get to see a lot more stuff, So it was nice every now and then, just kill some time, jump on a bus and just go for a ride. We used to have, they call the Looper route here in San Antonio. And
Tell
that's a
us, what is
3-hour
the
ride
Looper route?
all
What
the way
is that?
around. So back then it was the 550 and 551 route. So the one would go clockwise, the other one would go counterclockwise. But it
Around the
made
whole
one
city?
big around the whole city. Yes.
Wow.
One big loop. It was a 3-hour loop from the time you
Oh,
got
my
on, say you left Randolph Park and ride, 3 hours all the way around back to Randolph. And as a kid, that's what I would do. Just jump on the bus. It hit just about every single mall, shopping centers. It hit all kinds of stuff. And so you can see a lot of stuff on that one route. So I can make a day out of it. And that's what I did, And then once I think I was 25 when I first got hired at Via, and it was like my dream job. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I thought those drivers, you see them getting on the bus, and back then in the 80s, and they're driving those RTS buses, and
Yeah.
these guys are like pressed shirts, pressed pants,
Mhm.
cowboy boots, Ray-Bans on. They look like policemen. I thought they were the coolest dudes. And so as
Did
a
you
kid,
guys
I was
have
like, yeah,
those little
that's what I'm gonna do.
transfer clipper things
Yeah, the
that
little,
end up
I have mine here somewhere. I got stuff
you
here
put it
too,
like,
but
you have the police
yeah,
officers
you
with
have
their
it on your
belts, and
belt
we
clip,
had
and
ours.
yeah, yeah, I still have mine. We use ours, and um, but yeah, I mean, all that stuff. So starting as a kid, I was just hooked.
Awesome. All right, we'll come back to you in a moment. Tell us about how you got into buses, Zach.
So, is this where you want me to talk about the auction part?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us. Yeah.
I mean, since I've always been a creative kid, when I was younger, I'd get the little model cars and I would build them, or I'd buy the pre-built ones and take them apart. And then I started seeing videos of buses that were converted into like motorhomes and stuff like that. And I always loved it because you don't go out and buy one, you build it yourself. You can put it however you want. And so I've always, that's kind of been a small dream of mine, is building my own little motorhome. And I work part time for this auction company. And my fiance at the time, now wife, sent me a link to a 1984 GMC RTS2. And she was like, hey, it'd be fun if we bid on this and won. I was like, yeah, I'll take a look at it. And the auction was for a retired or a going out of business limo company, and they had all kinds of
So, is
cool
this in your
limos, and
town, like close to
it
you?
probably 15 minutes away from me, yeah,
Okay.
about
Go ahead
half
and
an hour.
continue. Okay.
So it had all kinds of cool limos, and then there was this old beat up mossy 84 RTS sitting under a bunch of trees, and all the nice limos had reserves on them of $20,000, $25,000, and the RTS started at $1. I was like, huh, interesting. Maybe it's a glitch. I've worked for them, but I've never bid on anything through the company. And I ended up working this auction too. So just for jokes, I put in a bid at $1 and I set my max bid for $50. And I was like, if I win it for less than $50, cool. If I get outbid, oh well. I'm living in an apartment at this time, so I don't have anywhere to park it either.
Right. Oh, wow.
And so I'm watching, getting updates. Oh, you were outbid. I'm like, okay, keep watching. Finally, I get an email. Congratulations, you won. It's like, what? There's no way. So I check it and I get the invoice emailed to me, and I won it for $16.24, something like that.
Wow.
And then after taxes and auction fees, it came out to like 1970 something.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up, the owner said it just needed 4 batteries. So I luckily got 4 batteries from the shop and threw them in there and loaded up with some diesel and cranked over probably twice and fired right up.
Wow. So we got a
Yep.
video. Let's show everybody this video, Zach. There are a couple of them. So is this when you first started it?
That was the next day.
That was the next day? Okay, we got another one here. We'll show.
And that was the same day as the last video. But that was us, my temporary part.
There she is.
Wow.
So it was a big empty parking lot behind a Golden Corral. So
wow. Man, you are one lucky guy to grab an RTS for $16, whatever the fees.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And I got some. Go ahead. Keep going.
It was just really cool. After I bought it, I was like, cool. I've got a bus. Now what do I do? And I just started looking, and I found a couple pages on Facebook, and you look at the buses that are on the roads nowadays, and they just don't have the same sleek look to them. They're just kind of like brick, and they're a lot more comfortable, a lot nicer, but they just, from the outside, the RTS and the older buses are just like a fishbowl RTS. They're just a lot more pleasing to the eyes,
Okay, so I'm going to put this photo up. Tell me what all you did to it after you got the bus. Now, just tell us what's going on in this photo.
So this is a spot that I rented in an alley for $50 a month to park it, because I was still in the apartments. And here we had washed the bus, picked a rainy day because we didn't have a garden hose. So got some scrub brushes and soap and washed it in the rain. And then all the seats and stuff were already piled in the middle, unbolted. Mm-hmm. So ended up making a couple trailer loads, emptying it out. And then I actually cleaned and painted the wheels because the wheels were all rusty. So it's like that metallic color changing paint. You get it like AutoZone. Right. And tidied up, fixed some of the doors. The hinges were broken and stuff like that, but nothing too crazy.
Tell us about this photo.
That was when I bought it. I took that picture at the limousine company before I even started it. That was the inside.
Were you scared?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, yeah. We're like, what did I just do?
Terrible. Yeah.
Now, did you know?
Like, well,
did you know it was like this in the inside?
Yeah, there were pictures included.
Okay.
And then,
and you did this.
Yeah.
So what did you do with all the seats? How long did it take you to get it all cleaned up?
It took a whole day of just unbolting seats and disassembling them and stuff. And a lot of them were rivets, not many bolts. So a lot of drilling and cutting. Mm-hmm. And then then the next day, a lot of just loading stuff up in the trailer, and we got some brooms and some floor scrub and scrubbed everything the best we could and just swept it out. There was a bag of sand that had busted in there, so that was really fun to clean up.
Wow.
But yeah,
So
and then
now,
that's at my current house right now.
how do your neighbors
I got an
react to
RV.
your bus?
All of them love it actually, except so the way our neighborhood is, we're we're on one side of the street, and then the other side of the street is a creek, and then it's more houses, a different neighborhood on the other side of the creek, and all the neighbors on my side of the creek love it. You know, as soon as they saw it in the driveway, they had nothing but questions and good things to say about it. And but one of the other neighbors across the street has been fighting to rent their house out, and it's personally priced a little too high in my opinion. So I think they're getting agitated. And then they saw that, and so the county ended up coming by, and they thought it was still a commercial vehicle because on the side it says Colonial Williamsburg. And so they told me I can't park it there. And I called the county inspector, explained to him, no, it's a personal vehicle. It's being converted into an RV.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, okay, then you can park it there, but it needs to be registered.
Uh,
And that was another issue. When I won it, I didn't have a title. The limo company doesn't have a title for it. So all I have is a bill of sale, and it's a whole lot of hoops to jump through to get a title for it.
mm-hmm.
But he told me if I can cover it, they can't go look under the cover to see if it's registered. So I ended up just getting a RV cover, threw a cover over it, and he was like, all right, cool. Case is closed. Enjoy your bus. So that was what I've had with it, though. Been smooth sailing.
Wow. So yeah, because it's like, well, I'm not ready to register it. I'm trying to get it all put together, and before I put all that money in it to take it on the road, I mean,
yeah,
it's a workout with these buses. I actually sold my Orion bus just 3 days ago.
Oh no!
Really?
Well, it had an air leak. It's that prison bus that I bought from Louisiana, and it was a slow bus. I'm just like, oh, this thing is slow. I mean, I'm just like, oh. So, but
Did it go to a good home?
It went to a good home for one day, and the guy said he was going to sell it.
Oh
no. Because he actually got it stuck in some mud. He was taking it back to his ranch, and I'm like, have you ever driven one of these before? And I told him about the channel, so maybe he's watching. I don't know, but and so he got it stuck in the mud. Had to get a tow truck, and it cost him some money. I mean, towing these buses are not cheap.
Yes.
And so
we're definitely finding that out ourselves too. So
yes, I felt bad for him, and so anyway, so all that happened, and so I'm on the hunt again. Like I really want an RTS bus. Those were my favorite buses back in the day. So I'm 42 years old, and I was just like you, Johnny. I mean, rode the buses everywhere, cross town.
The same age. I'm the same age.
Really, the same age?
Yeah, 42, man. I'm 42. I'm old 42.
Well, and my operator number was operator 142 when I worked in transit. I'm just like, man, I'm 42 years old now. And but anyway, I miss driving. I don't drive full time. I'm a worship pastor full time, but I drive charter buses. And if the schedules were if a transit company would just let me just work part time, like let me just come in on a Saturday and drive for y'all. No, you gotta be fully part time or fully full time. And I'm just like, oh well. So anyway, can't do that. Johnny, tell us about what you're doing in South San Antonio.
Okay, so we got a group here, South Texas Bus Preservationists, and basically our goal is to try to save and just preserve transportation history.
Yeah.
I've seen these museums. You see the museums on the East Coast, and They got, they do their old fleets. They got vintage fleets, and but there's nothing like that down here in Texas or anywhere down here in the South, really. And I think that's sorry about that. I think that's something that y'all talked about, on the last podcast, that down here there's just nothing like that.
Mm-mm.
And so all the buses down here, they get scrapped. They just go to scrap, and I've seen so many buses go to scrap. And
in Via, they go to scrap.
Yeah,
Where you work at? I'm curious.
They'll auction them
why
off.
they don't auction them off.
So they did auction off back when they got rid of the Nabbies, and the Nabbies, the old RTS, all those went to auction. All those went to auction. So they did auction them off, and then, but now I know that they're getting ready to get rid of the new Flyers, and because they're government funded, they bought with grant money and all that from the FTA. There's procedures they have to follow, and they have to get rid of them a certain way. So now there's more loopholes.
Hoping that they would go to auction, because I'm just like, I would get one of those.
Yeah, no. Now there's more loopholes that the companies have to jump through to, to even send them to auction. So, but our group actually started with an auction, an RTS auction, as a matter of fact. So, in 2008, Via was around 2008, 2009. Via restored their RTS. They had one RTS left. They restored it, and it was number 9901. And so they had it, and then after a couple of years, it ended up in a storage lot and it stayed there. And then last year, around October, September, October, they had put it up for auction. And and I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, it's the last RTS here in San Antonio. They spent so much money to restore it. The engine and the interior, exterior, everything was just completely redone. So I knew it would be a good running bus, and so we started there. Yeah, that's it right there. That was actually right after they restored it. That was at the rodeo in 2009 that I took that picture. But yeah, they ended up on public surplus, and I just found it there one day, and so my wife would probably kill me.
Was this one still running, or what? It wasn't running, right?
It ran at that time. It was running. Like I said, that was after they had completely restored it. They restored the engine. They restored the interior, the exterior. It was completely restored, and it did run. Now they used it at a couple of events and parking rides, but it wasn't running in service though. But anyway, it ended up on the auction block, and so we bid on it. And I didn't get it. And then, so one of the other guys that didn't get it, he contacted me after the auction was over, ended up selling for, that's our original group there. So it ended up selling for about like $4 or $5 grand, something like that. Well, the guy was the second highest runner up, and he was like, well, what were you going to do with it? And I told him I had no idea. I didn't have a place to put it. I just wanted to keep it, keep it here. And he's like, well, he had already had, he was a member of the Texas Transportation Museum. And he's like, well, I already secured a spot for it, but he didn't win it. And so, we kind of put our heads together, and I told him where I knew where other RTSs were around town. And he's like, well, have I got a spot? He goes, let's put a bus there. And so it started with, we found one out of town, which is number 267. I think you got a video of us towing that into the museum.
Yeah, let me show that.
When we pulled that one up. So, there it is. That one came out of Mandera, Texas, just outside of San Antonio, where we found that. And, that's us pulling it into the museum. So, and so from there, I mean, we got together, and along with, it was me, the gentleman is James, we call him JP, and then Ben Mooney, who's a bus operator. We got Eddie McQueen, Eddie Gonzalez, Mr. Raul Chapa. He's Via's 3 million mile guy, the first one in San Antonio. So he's in our group. And then Eddie Gonzalez. I think I mentioned Eddie Gonzalez, but and then on our museum side, we have John Searle, and then the museum president, Dave Sonova, has been a real big supporter of us too. And so in the last year, we became an official division of the museum. That's 674. That was our second bus. That one was donated by Texas A&M.
Okay.
Yeah, Texas A&M Transportation Services. I think that's where Madeline works. Yeah, she. So that they donated that bus to us.
Does this
so
one
we're
run?
working on cleaning it up, and we're redoing the inside, and
Okay.
and then right next to that is 292. That's our other RTS that we picked up. It's also a 1977, just like the 267. They're 1977 RTSs. They're part of the original RTSs that were built, and so that's why we tried to save them. I mean, these two buses, those two RTSs were out of the first 100 or so, built out of thousands, eventually that hit the road, And so, that's our goal, is to try to save these buses. And this week, as a matter of fact, we actually picked up, that's a long time ago.
Man, I remember driving these things in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And I hated them.
That was, I want to say 2008. It was loud and hot.
And hot. That's what I was getting ready to say. Loud and hot.
It was loud and hot. You're sitting right up there next to the engine, man. It was hot.
Yes. Oh, man.
But they were fun.
Tell me about, I don't know much about these buses here. Okay. I think they're ugly. That's just
so that right there, that's the 2012 Nabby. It's a BRT 60. So I took that when I actually came back. I left Via for about 8 years, and I came back right after COVID. What's that?
What'd you do in that 8 years?
Oh, I went over the road. I went oil field and drove 18-wheeler. Then I drove local. I got my Class A, and I just wanted to drive 18-wheeler too.
Yep.
And so after that, after COVID, I ended up coming back to Via, and that was actually right when I came back. So yeah, those are the RTS. I'm sorry, articulated. Mm-hmm. Those are the articulated buses that San Antonio has. So it's a 2012 Nabby. So,
do you like driving them?
No, nobody does.
I was gonna say, I'm just like, these things doesn't look fun.
They're and it's not necessarily the length. It's not that they're too long. I mean, I've driven 18-wheeler. It's not that. It's just the ride is rough, and there's little things, but it's definitely not a driver's favorite bus to get.
Mm-hmm. Y'all tell, how long have you been, I guess, back in the bus industry? And maybe for you, Zach, I guess you've had this bus for how long?
A little over 2 years.
A little over 2 years, okay. And
so I started originally at Via in 2006. And then 2006 is when I first started at Via, and then I left in 2012, and then I came back in 2020, right after COVID. Right after COVID, and so I ended up back. So I've been back in transit for a couple of years, but in between, it's funny because I have a huge transportation collection. I have signs, maps and schedules. I have all this stuff, but it wasn't until after I left in 2012 that I really started collecting stuff. And then in those 8 years, like I said, my collection just blew up, and so I've always been in transit. I've always been into transit. So even when I wasn't driving.
So after I graduated college, I was still working driving buses, and I applied to be a supervisor because I wanted to kind of move up in the transit world and just see what path that would take. And of course, they just led me on. Hey, yeah, come let me show you how to do payroll. Let me show you how to do this. Dispatch and everything. and then they end up hiring someone else to do it. And I told him, okay, well, I'm done. I quit. I'm not driving buses for you anymore. And I moved to Texas, and then found, I graduated with a music degree, and so I was serving at a church part time and working transit part time, and I guess the Lord said, nope, you're gonna do this full time. But I still have, I think maybe when I retire, I'll go back to driving or do something later on in life. But still has a place in my heart. Now, Zach,
Yeah.
you didn't tell us, like, for you, like, did you like buses when you were a kid, or kind of what inspired you, I guess, to if
Really, it was anything with wheels that moved, I was always into, and normally the bigger the better. So whether it
yeah,
was buses or 18 wheelers, stuff like that, the sound it makes, it's just kind of gives you that raw feeling of a diesel
right,
engine, you know. And I've always had a knack for bigger vehicles, cars in general, but it was probably right after I purchased it, when I got into the RTS community and then the bus community in general.
hmm,
And just after that, just love buses. Just
yeah.
everything about them, the history, the different models, It's just
So I
really interesting.
Yeah. So I asked the guys last month. So what do your spouses think of you guys? Like, okay, why are you into this? Do your spouses
Oh,
ever
God.
say that to you guys?
So, go ahead, Zach. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
All right. Um, well, I can't, she can't get but so mad because she sent me the link to it first. So, I mean, she started it. But she said, you honestly, you spent less than $20 on it, so there's no way I could be mad. She
Right.
was a little skeptical on where I was going to park it, and then skeptical on parking it in the driveway at our new house.
Yeah.
But honestly, it hasn't been as bad as I expected, for
Okay.
a spontaneous bus purchase.
Or Johnny.
Well, my wife, she's been patient. So, I mean, for a long time, like I said, I started collecting stuff, and then so I started coming in with, I'd hit a scrapyard and they'd have an old bus, so I'd pull out the destination sign,
Yeah.
the whole head sign from the top, pull the whole thing out, and you know, when I worked in the oil field, I'd work 2 days off or 2 weeks straight and then get a week off. So I had to
Hmm.
kill a week doing something. So I started
Right.
going looking for buses. And so my collection, I mean, every couple of days I'd come in with something new, or every week I'd come in with something new. And it just started adding up. And then I got into models. I started doing model buses. And so she's been patient, so I literally have, a lot of stuff. Now she's kind of like, she's, oh, look at this or look at that, or, she's starting to come around, I guess.
Right. Oh
But she's
yeah.
definitely been patient with me.
How many model buses do you have?
Oh gosh. So I probably have about between 200 to 300
What?
models. Yeah.
I'm looking at mine. I
So
think I
so there's
probably
a
got like
Facebook group,
60.
model bus fans. So
Yeah.
the thing with the model buses, what I noticed is a lot of them are New York buses, a lot of them are LA
Hmm.
buses or California buses. There's nothing, if it's not one of those big cities or one of those historic cities, you're not going to find it,
Right.
unless it's custom made. So what I would buy those model buses from those cities, and I just started making them via buses, just making them my own, And I have, I don't know if I can share these, but I have pictures. I should have sent these to you so you can pull them up. But
This will be the first. I haven't done a screen share thing before, so let me see.
so let me see if I can pull this up here.
While you're finding
But
that, so this was the Orion going off the other day. And she's gone. I mean, it was
Oh
literally
God, I'd have been
sleeping.
crying.
Well,
That's my goal, is to own my own private bus now. I know, like with the museum, we have, I think now we have 4. Yeah, 4. We just got another one this week.
uh-huh.
So
Well, I'm telling you, it didn't have a destination sign. I was like, oh, I gotta have a bus that's got can light up and I can change some things. And if they don't have that, then so I was kind of bummed out, you know. So in a way, I was
yeah.
like, okay, I gotta let this one go. So I made a little profit on it, so I was fine.
So I had signs like actually hanging on my wall that I would got. Hold on, I'm trying to get this up here.
Does it give you
Let's
an
see.
option to share?
There we go. I don't know if that came up.
Oh, hold on. I haven't seen this before. Okay, let me see how this works. Okay. With
We're learning as we go. We're learning as we
we
go.
are. We are. Let me. Okay, assign to guest
I think I
3.
pulled up the wrong thing actually.
Oh yeah. Well, I see your window.
Okay, let me try this again.
Do you have any model buses, Zach?
I've actually been
Okay.
looking for RT models, and it's hard to find them. I like particular scales, so I've found a couple. I think 1/43rd scales, which I like normally 1/64th, which is like Hot Wheel size, or like a 1/24th scale, which is a lot more common.
Mm-hmm.
But
Keep it there, Johnny. I
I've
got it.
been left and right for them, and I found a couple, but nothing that'll fit what I
You want
like making
something?
diorama.
You want something
There we
bigger
go.
than that?
Uh, I think, yeah, I think that's about the right size.
Sorry, that'll focus. And, I think this is the 87, 187 model, something like that.
What do you
So
got
I have
there?
like 11 of those because I was gonna make them into. Oh, why'd you get rid of your screen, Johnny? I was getting ready to show you.
Oh, sorry. It's here. It's
Okay,
here.
here we go. Now, okay, I see. These are man. I learned something new today with the screen share. Cool. I'm sure
So
people are like,
that's
okay, you guys.
so that's a 143. Now the bus was blank. I don't know if you can see it. I can't.
Double click on it.
Okay, it's up on mine. Let me see
Oh
here. Is there a delay or?
no, we only see the your whole screen. That's probably why. I mean, it's okay. We can still see the model.
Okay,
So no
let me get
worries.
out of that then. So yeah, so I don't know if it still didn't come up.
No,
Anyway,
it's all good.
so I got to figure that out. Sorry about that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I should have brought him out. So, but no, well, I started with a bunch of models, via models, and I started buying the 187s. And I think when Awesome Diecast came out with the Vivas, the Viva models. Hold on, I got one of those.
Oh.
I did pull one of those out. So this was
Yep.
the. Let me see if I can get out of the light here.
Yep. I see it.
There we go. Okay, so that's one of the 187 models that Awesome Diecast came out with, and when I saw that, I was like, I went nuts. I probably bought like I think 10 of them. And
And what
so I
did your
actually
wife
had,
say to you? Like, boy, what are you buying all them
oh
buses for?
yeah. So after that, after those came out, that's when I really got into the 187s. I still kept doing my
Yeah.
customs, but I started buying more and more and more, and
Mhm.
I got with the Model Bus Fans Facebook group and realized there's a whole community of these guys and
Yeah.
that are just into the models. And I think you mentioned Zelmo on the last podcast.
Mhm.
Um, met guys like him and a few others that I started trading stuff for buses and
Right.
or just buying models and it was so yeah, my collection grew.
It's
It
almost
really
as
did
if
grow.
reliving being kids again. Now we're kids with some money.
Yeah, with adult money. Yeah, you
Right.
see those
We're like,
those
okay, I'm
videos.
gonna do what I've always wanted to do as a child. Now I'm gonna,
Yeah,
and our
I'm a
kids
big
are gonna
kid
be
with
like
adult
in the
money.
inheritance. I'm gonna give Abigail 10 buses, Jeremiah 10. They're gonna be like, why did Dad have these? So
No, my kids like it though. My
mine
kids
do too.
are
Yeah,
my
yours
kids
will
are
too,
my
Zach.
yeah,
Oh
they're
yeah.
into it now.
Yeah.
So my son has a couple of his own models, and I'm trying to get him into it, but he's a gamer. He likes to
Oh,
game.
cool. Well, I just wanted to
But
say, man, I think it's been cool just to connect with some folks from all over, and we're just going to continue to do this. I think once a month, just to just see
yeah,
what folks are doing and who's got a bus, and tell us about your bus, and or maybe where you work if you work for a transit agency. I think it's just good to just talk. I think there was just the community of, okay, we can just type what we want, but how about just like let's just hear people's story, and just to share, what's going on in everybody's world in the world of transit and buses. So, but man, I thank y'all for coming on tonight.
you.
And
So
I know I told my wife, I said, okay, I won't be long. I'll come and hang out and watch some movies for my birthday celebration, and all that good stuff. So, once again, I'm gonna put this up. No one ever called me, so I guess we didn't have. Everybody's scared
I don't
probably
think
to
we put
talk.
it up though.
So
I think it's the first
uh,
time.
I know I haven't put it up in a while. If you want to be on the show, you can just email the transit guy 2020 at gmail.com. And if you guys ever have updates, Zach or Johnny, on what y'all are doing, let's bring y'all back on. Zach, whatever you do to that bus, keep us posted, and would love to figure out what your issue is with that air. But I know one thing I did find out with that Orion was I drained the tanks, and oh my goodness, there was so much water in the tanks. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that bus must have sat for a while, and I was thinking something's wrong as soon as I pulled that string or whatever. It's just like, I'm just like, man. And so that did actually help a little
Mine
bit with the air pressure. Go ahead.
mine's got the big catch tanks. It's got literally looks like a water hose spigot on it
Uh huh.
underneath. And the bus, when I started the bus for the first time when I bought it, it was the first time it was started in 17 years.
Wow.
So I know tanks haven't been emptied for now 19
Oh
years,
my goodness.
but that, and it runs, it builds pressure, brakes work. I drove it. So far, it's probably had 30 miles put on it
Mm-hmm.
since I bought it, with the airbags not aired up, which was not fun.
Do you
But
bounce a lot?
I mean, oh, it was terrible. I should have sent you the video. My wife took it out. I had a single recliner in the very back of the bus, and she took a video when we were driving it to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't tell what's going on. All you see is the camera just jumping all around.
Wow.
And
Wow.
but I actually I've made time this weekend tomorrow to empty the tanks and start it up and see if she airs up. So
Okay.
I'm gonna try to stay committed to my plans tomorrow to do that.
So Dominic says, "What's y'all's favorite engine in a bus?" For me,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna say I just need the bus to run. Especially at these auctions, you just want something that just gets to point A to point B. The furthest I've gone to pick up a bus actually is Houston, so about 4.5 hour trip, and I had one dud that didn't make it. I got halfway and I went to fill up on gas. I think I may have told this last week. Pulled the parking brake, waiting on the trucks to move, and the next thing you know, the bus wouldn't move. I mean, the brakes wouldn't release. I mean, the engine would run and all, and I don't know. It just that. So I said, I'm not buying a Houston Metro bus ever again. So.
For me, it's I gotta stick with the RTS engine, those Detroit diesels, man. Just the way they sounded. I mean, even so we just picked up a fishbowl this week, a 1966 New Look, and so we're looking at trying to save it. It's pretty beat up, but it's got the engine in it. So I started watching videos, on a lot of, whatever new look buses were out there on YouTube, and just hearing that engine, they have those those 671s.
Yeah.
But that, and then the RTS engines, man, those are the ones,
I'm still
you know,
hoping I can get one.
I don't
Especially
know.
from California. What I think Steven is his name. He was gonna get rid of it, but now he's gonna keep it. I was like, no, I want it. So, Ron says one that starts, and I thought, yes, definitely, it has to be a bus that starts.
We have. I think the two RTSs that we do have. Like I said, they're both 1977s. So I was just thinking, I was like, man, in 5 years they're gonna be 50-year-old buses. That's crazy, But one of them has everything in it. We just need to see if we can get it going. And so hopefully we can get that one started, get that one running. But we're still a long way off. It's a long way to go on that. I mean, it's a process. We're doing everything out of pocket on our own. But
oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is, the money things. But
right.
but we have the buses there. We have the buses there. They're not going to scrap, and so and like I said, we just added that 1966 this week, and that one's not at the museum. We're actually going to be working on that one off property. But yeah, it's we have a couple other things in the works, so. Check us out if you want to follow us, South Texas Bus Preservationists. We're on Facebook. And then I have my San Antonio Bus and Transit Enthusiast page that I started a couple years back too. So,
cool.
Yeah, I try to post as much info and, everything we got going on.
We have to get together if we're this close. Hey, so Zach, Ron says, Zach, have you drawn any plans for what you want to do to the interior of your bus?
So I haven't physically drawn anything, but I've definitely walked it out, and pretty much the very rear of the bus where that big fuse panel is, the wall would start at the end of the rear door, and that would be the bedroom, and there would be no floor. It would just be you open a door and there's a bed, and then lots of shelving around the top, and then probably have the bathroom right there in front of the rear steps because there's that big open cavity under it, so it would work well for a sewage tank and water tank and stuff like that. And then I like puzzles, so everything would be multi-purpose. The couch would fold open into a bed, the dinette table would close up into another seat, and lots of multi-purpose items. And then the biggest thing that I had planned for was I want where the driver storage is, right behind the front tires, take that box out and then build a deck on rollers that would slide out from either side and then fold open, because it's 8 foot wide by 5 foot deep. So folding open, give me an 8 by 10 deck that I can pull out on either side and have a canopy. And when you go camping or something, you got a whole little porch there. You can throw a grill on, and those are the main things I've come up with for it. But the details are still, those are going to be once it actually happens. That'll figure that out.
Yeah, man, cool. Would love to see maybe this come to life, and and we all know life happens, and unless we just hit the lottery or somebody just gives us a ton of money to pour into things, it just takes time, because you have your family, kids come first. You got to feed the kids, and got to take care of them. So, but these projects are fun. I think they are great. One thing I'm just really sad about, so I had bid on an Orion out of Rhode Island. I can't. What's the name of that transit agency up there? Anyway, but the guy told me the bus had been sitting for 2 years, and so I was like, well, I'm not gonna get that bus. I won the auction, but I got out of it because they didn't post in there that it had been sitting for 2 years, and now I'm just kind of wondering. Oh, I bet that bus was much better than the Orion that I picked up. and I think I got videos.
So
of
do y'all find yourselves checking the auction sites like constantly?
every day. Every day,
All the
nonstop, you know. It's so.
I
And
know
then
we
that's
all
when
want to
I'm
be
just
like Zach, man. We want to find that
that's
that
it.
one $16 bus, man.
I know, and I'm just like,
I
man,
remember
Yeah.
seeing the first time I heard about that, I was like, no way.
yeah,
And you know, I watched the videos. I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it, man.
oh man,
But
That
it's addicting at times, you know. That's why I sold that bus. I was like, let me sell this, and if I find something, I told my wife I'm gonna go get that bus wherever it may be. So, well, I think, man, it's almost 9 o'clock, and I appreciate you guys coming on tonight. Y'all, it's always just
course.
fun, and so
yeah, it's been fun.
and so until we
Oh,
do
yeah.
this again, I think, you know, we just keep doing, and then sharing information to enthusiasts like us, you know, and just like, hey,
Oh yeah, I'll get you better pictures next time, Mike.
man, oh, your pictures were good though, brother. They were good. I love the videos.
We'll
It
figure
was
out the
hard.
share screen thing.
I couldn't do Madeline's or Darren Darren's because it was just I just got this program. I'm just like, well, I tried to work on it all night. How do I show the pictures better? And so I figured it out. And so I think I'm becoming a master at this. It's called Ecamm Live. So shout out to them. So anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all. And I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. Thanks for being on tonight.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Y'all take it easy, brother.
Michael.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. You too.